Proverbs 1 verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 1 verse 8. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. Proverbs 3 verse 1 through 2. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. Proverbs 3 verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3 verse 6. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3 verse 9 through 10. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. Proverbs 3 verse 13 through 14. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver, and yields better returns than gold. Proverbs 3 verse 18. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. Proverbs 4 verse 5. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn away from them. Proverbs 4 verse 6. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. Proverbs 4 verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 6 verse 1 through 2. My son, if you have put up security for your neighbor, if you have shaken hands in pledge for a stranger, you have been trapped by what you said, ensnared by the words of your mouth. Proverbs 6 verse 6 through 8. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. Proverbs 6 verse 9 through 11. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. Proverbs 8 verse 11. For wisdom is more precious than rubies, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Proverbs 8 verse 17. I love those who love me, and those who seek me find me. Proverbs 9 verse 8. Do not rebuke mockers, or they will hate you. Rebuke the wise, and they will love you. Proverbs 9 verse 9. Instruct the wise, and they will be wiser still. Teach the righteous, and they will add to their learning. Proverbs 9 verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Proverbs 9 verse 12. If you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. If you are a mocker, you alone will suffer. Proverbs 10 verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish son brings grief to his mother. Proverbs 10 verse 4. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10 verse 12. Hatred stirs up conflict, but love covers over all wrongs. Proverbs 10 verse 16. The wages of the righteous is life, but the earnings of the wicked are sin and death. Proverbs 10 verse 19. Sin is not ended by multiplying words, but the prudent hold their tongues. Proverbs 10 verse 22. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth, without painful toil for it. Proverbs 10 verse 27. The fear of the Lord adds length to life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. Proverbs 11 verse 12. Whoever derides their neighbor has no sense, but the one who has understanding holds their tongue. Proverbs 11 verse 13. A gossip betrays a confidence, but a trustworthy person keeps a secret. Proverbs 11 verse 24. One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. Proverbs 11 verse 25. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Proverbs 12 verse 14. From the fruit of their lips, people are filled with good things, and the work of their hands brings them reward. Proverbs 12 verse 16. Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult. Proverbs 12 verse 18. The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Proverbs 12 verse 23. The prudent keep their knowledge to themselves, but a fool's heart blurts out folly. Proverbs 12 verse 24. Diligent hands will rule, but laziness ends in forced labor. Proverbs 13 verse 1. A wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a mocker does not respond to rebukes. Proverbs 13 verse 3. Those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. Proverbs 13 verse 7. One person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. Proverbs 13 verse 16. All who are prudent act with knowledge, but fools expose their folly. Proverbs 13 verse 20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Proverbs 13 verse 24. Whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. Proverbs 14 verse 6. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. Proverbs 14 verse 12. There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death. Proverbs 14 verse 15. The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps. Proverbs 14 verse 27. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, turning a person from the snares of death. Proverbs 14 verse 29. Whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displays folly. Proverbs 14 verse 30. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Proverbs 14 verse 31. Whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their Maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God. Proverbs 15 verse 1. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Proverbs 15 verse 2. The tongue of the wise adorns knowledge, but the mouth of the fool gushes folly. Proverbs 15 verse 3. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good. Proverbs 15 verse 13. A happy heart makes the face cheerful, but heartache crushes the spirit. Proverbs 15 verse 15. All the days of the oppressed are wretched, but the cheerful heart has a continual feast. Proverbs 15 verse 16. Better a little with the fear of the Lord than great wealth with turmoil. Proverbs 15 verse 18. A hot-tempered person stirs up conflict, but the one who is patient calms a quarrel. Proverbs 15 verse 20. A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish man despises his mother. Proverbs 15 verse 23. A person finds joy in giving an apt reply, and how good is a timely word. Proverbs 16 verse 1. To humans belong the plans of the heart, but from the Lord comes the proper answer of the tongue. Proverbs 16 verse 2. All a person's ways seem pure to them, but motives are weighed by the Lord. Proverbs 16, verse 3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Proverbs 16, verse 4. The Lord works out everything to its proper end, even the wicked for a day of disaster. Proverbs 16, verse 7. When the Lord takes pleasure in anyone's way, He causes their enemies to make peace with them. Proverbs 16, verse 9. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16, verse 16. How much better to get wisdom than gold, to get insight rather than silver. Proverbs 16, verse 18. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16, verse 24. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Proverbs 16, verse 28. A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. Proverbs 16, verse 32. Better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. Proverbs 17, verse 3. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart. Proverbs 17, verse 9. Whoever would foster love covers over an offense, but whoever repeats the matter separates close friends. Proverbs 17, verse 25. A foolish son brings grief to his father, and bitterness to the mother who bore him. Proverbs 17, verse 28. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Proverbs 18, verse 4. The words of the mouth are deep waters, but the fountain of wisdom is a rushing stream. Proverbs 18, verse 6. The lips of fools bring them strife, and their mouths invite a beating. Proverbs 18, verse 8. The words of a gossip are like choice morsels. They go down to the inmost parts. Proverbs 18 verse 10. The name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. Proverbs 18 verse 12. Before a downfall, the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. Proverbs 18 verse 13. To answer before listening, that is folly and shame. Proverbs 18 verse 15. The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out. Proverbs 18 verse 20. From the fruit of their mouth a person's stomach is filled. With the harvest of their lips they are satisfied. Proverbs 18 verse 21. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Proverbs 19 verse 6. Many curry favor with the ruler, and everyone is the friend of one who gives gifts. Proverbs 19 verse 11. A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. Proverbs 19 verse 17. Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done. Proverbs 19 verse 21. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Proverbs 19 verse 24. A sluggard buries his hand in the dish. He will not even bring it back to his mouth. Proverbs 20 verse 12. Ears that hear and eyes that see, the Lord has made them both. Proverbs 20 verse 13. Do not love sleep, or you will grow poor. Stay awake, and you will have food to spare. Proverbs 20 verse 15. Gold there is, and rubies in abundance, but lips that speak knowledge are a rare jewel. Proverbs 20 verse 19. A gossip betrays a confidence, so avoid anyone who talks too much. Proverbs 20 verse 24. A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way? Proverbs 20 verse 27. The human spirit is the lamp of the Lord. that sheds light on one's inmost being. Proverbs 22 verse 2. Rich and poor have this in common: the Lord is the maker of them all. Proverbs 22 verse 5. In the paths of the wicked are snares and pitfalls, but those who would preserve their life stay far from them. Proverbs 22 verse 6. Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. Proverbs 22 verse 7. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. Proverbs 22 verse 29. Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. Proverbs 23 verse 5. Cast but a glance at riches, and they are gone, for they will surely spread wings and fly off the sky like an eagle. Proverbs 23 verse 22. Listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. Proverbs 23 verse 23. Buy the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom, instruction, and insight as well. Proverbs 23 verse 24. The father of a righteous child has great joy. A man who fathers a wise son rejoices in him. Proverbs 24 verse 1. Do not envy the wicked. Do not desire their company. Proverbs 24 verse 3 through 4. By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. Proverbs 24 verse 10. If you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength? Proverbs 24 verse 13 through 14. Eat honey, my son, for it is good. Honey from the comb is sweet to your taste. Know also that wisdom is like honey for you. If you find it, there is a future hope for you, and your hope will not be cut off. Proverbs 24 verse 16. For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes. Proverbs 24 verse 29. Do not say, I'll do to them as they have done to me. I'll pay them back for what they did. Proverbs 25 verse 9. If you take your neighbor to court, do not betray another's confidence. Proverbs 25 verse 11. Like apples of gold in settings of silver is a ruling rightly given. Proverbs 25 verse 12. Like an earring of gold or an ornament of fine gold is the rebuke of a wise judge to a listening ear. Proverbs 25 verse 15. Through patience, a ruler can be persuaded, and a gentle tongue can break a bone. Proverbs 25 verse 17. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house. Too much of you, and they will hate you. Proverbs 25 verse 20. Like one who takes away a garment on a cold day, or like vinegar poured on a wound, is one who sings songs to a heavy heart. Proverbs 25 verse 21 through 22. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Proverbs 26 verse 3. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the backs of fools. Proverbs 26 verse 12. Do you see a person wise in their own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for them. Proverbs 26 verse 20. Without wood, a fire goes out. Without a gossip, a quarrel dies down. Proverbs 27 verse 1. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. Proverbs 27 verse 2. Let someone else praise you, and not your own mouth, an outsider, and not your own lips. Proverbs 27 verse 3. Stone is heavy, and sand a burden, but a fool's provocation is heavier than both. Proverbs 27 verse 7. One who is full loathes honey from the comb, but to the hungry, even what is bitter tastes sweet. Proverbs 27 verse 14. If anyone loudly blesses their neighbor early in the morning, it will be taken as a curse. Proverbs 27 verse 21. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but people are tested by their praise. Proverbs 27 verse 22. Though you grind a fool in a mortar, grinding them like grain with a pestle, you will not remove their folly from them. Proverbs 28 verse 1. The wicked flee though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. Proverbs 28 verse 9. If anyone turns a deaf ear to my instruction, even their prayers are detestable. Proverbs 28 verse 13. Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy. Proverbs 28 verse 25. The greedy stir up conflict, but those who trust in the Lord will prosper. Proverbs 29 verse 9. If a wise person goes to court with a fool, the fool rages and scoffs, and there is no peace. Proverbs 29 verse 11. Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end. Proverbs 29 verse 15. A rod and a reprimand impart wisdom, but a child left undisciplined disgraces its mother. Proverbs 29 verse 17. Discipline your children, and they will give you peace. They will bring you the delights you desire. Proverbs 29 verse 20. Do you see someone who speaks in haste? There is more hope for a fool than for them. Proverbs 29 verse 25. Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. Proverbs 29 verse 26. Many seek an audience with a ruler, but it is from the Lord that one gets justice. Proverbs 30 verse 5. Every word of God is flawless. He is a shield to those who take refuge in him. Proverbs 30 verse 6. Do not add to his words, or he will rebuke you and prove you a liar. Amen.